I'm Jeremy. Today is day 77 of reading. Today we're reading Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. Let's get started. We're on page 99. Last, Harry yanked his robe straight and headed for a seat at the very back of the class, where he busied himself with piling all 7 of Lockhart's books in front of him, so that he could avoid looking at the real thing. The rest of the class came clattering in, and Ron and Hermione sat down on either side of Harry. "You could have fried an egg on your face," said Ron. "You better hope Creevy doesn't meet Ginny, or they'll be starting a Harry Potter fan club." "Shut up," snapped Harry. The last thing he needed was Lockhart to hear the phrase Harry Potter fan club. When the whole class was seated, Lockhart cleared his throat loudly and silence fell. He reached forward, picked up Neville Longbottom's copy of Travels with Trolls, and held it up to show his own winking portrait on the front. "Me," he said, pointing at it and winking as well. "Gilderoy Lockhart, Order of Merlin, 3rd class, honorary member of the Dark Force Defense League, and 5-time winner of Witch Weekly's Most Charming Smile Award. But I don't talk about that. I didn't get rid of the Bad and Banshee by smiling at her." He waited for them to laugh. A few people smiled weakly. "I see you've all bought a complete set of my books. Well done. I thought we'd start today with a little quiz. Nothing to worry about, just to check how well you've read them, how much you've taken in." When he had handed out the test papers, he returned to the front of the class and said, "You have 30 minutes. Start now." Harry looked down at his paper and read, "What is Gilderoy Lockhart's favorite color? What is Gilderoy Lockhart's secret ambition? In your opinion, is Gilderoy Lockhart's greatest achievement to date?" And it went on over 3 sides of paper, right down to, "When is Gilderoy Lockhart's birthday, and what would his ideal gift be?" Half an hour later, Lockhart collected the papers and rifled through them in front of the class. "Tut-tut. Hardly have you remembered that my favorite color is lilac. I say so in Year with the Yeti. If few of you need to read Wandering with Werewolves more carefully, I clearly state in Chapter 12 that my ideal birthday gift would be harmony between all magic and non-magic peoples. Though I wouldn't say no to a large bottle of Ogden's Old Fire Whiskey." He gave them another roguish wink. Ron was now staring at Lockhart with an expression of disbelief on his face. Seamus Finnegan and Dean Thomas, who were sitting in the front row, was shaking with silent laughter. Hermione, on the other hand, was listening to Lockhart with rapt attention and gave a start when he mentioned her name. But Miss Hermione Granger knew my secret ambition is to rid the world of evil and market my own range of hair care potions. Good girl. In fact," he flipped her paper over, "full marks. Where is Mrs. Hermione Granger?" Hermione raised a trembling hand. "Excellent," beamed Lockhart. "Quite excellent. Take 10 points for Gryffindors. And so, to business." He bent down behind his desk and lifted a large, covered cage onto it. "Now, be warned. It is my job to arm you against the foulest creatures known to wizard kind. You may find yourselves facing your worst fears in this room. Know only that no harm can befall you whilst I am here. All I ask is that you remain calm." In spite of himself, Harry leaned around his pile of books for a better look at the cage. Lockhart placed a hand over the cover. Dean and Seamus had stopped laughing now. Neville was cowering in his front row seat. "I must ask you not to scream," said Lockhart in a low voice. "It will provoke them." As the whole class held its breath, Lockhart chipped off the cover. "Yes," he said dramatically, "freshly caught Cornish pixies." Seamus Finnegan couldn't control himself. He let out a snort of laughter that even Lockhart couldn't mistake for a scream of terror. "Yes?" he smiled at Seamus. Well, they're not very dangerous, are they? Don't be so sure, said Lockhart, waggling a finger annoyingly at Seamus. Devilish, tricky little blighters they can be. The pixies were electric blue and about 8 inches high, with pointed faces and voices so shrill it was like listening to a lot of budgies arguing. The moment the cover had been removed, they had started jabbering and rocketing around, rattling the bars and making bizarre faces at the people nearest them. Right then, Lockhart said loudly, let's see what you make of them. And he opened the cage. It was pandemonium. The pixies shot in every direction like rockets. 2 of them seized Neville by the ears and lifted him into the air. Several shot straight through the window, showering the back row with broken glass. The rest proceeded to wreck the classroom more effectively than a ravaging rhino. They grabbed ink bottles and sprayed the class with them, shredded books and papers, tore pictures from walls, upended the wastebasket, grabbed bags and books, and threw them out of the smashed window. Within minutes, half the class was sheltering under desks, and Neville was swinging from the iron candier in the ceiling. Come on now, round them up, round them up. They're only pixies, Lockhart shouted. He rolled up his sleeves, brandishing his wand, and bellowed, Pesquipsi Pesternomi. It had absolutely no effect. One of the pixies seized his wand and threw it out of the window. 2. Lockhart gulped and dived under his own desk, narrowly avoiding being squashed by Neville, who fell a second later as the candier gave away. The bell rang and there was a mad rush toward the exit. In the relative calm that followed, Lockhart straightened up, caught sight of Harry, Ron, and Hermione, who were almost at the door, and said, well, I'll ask you 3 to just knit the rest of them back into their cage. He slipped past them and shut the door quickly behind him. Can you believe it? Roared Ron as one of the remaining pixies bit him painfully on the ear. He just wants to give us some hands-on experience, said Hermione, immobilizing 2 pixies at once with a clever freezing charm and stuffing them back into the cage. Hands-on? Said Harry, who was trying to grab a pixie dancing out of reach with its tongue out. Hermione, he didn't have a clue what he was doing. Rubbish, said Hermione. You've read his book. Look at all those amazing things he's done. He says he's done, Ron muttered. Chapter 7, Mudbloods and Murmurs. Harry spent a lot of time over the next few days dodging out of sight whenever he saw Gilderoy Lockhart coming down a corridor. Harder to avoid was Colin Creevey, who seemed to have memorized Harry's schedule. Nothing seems to give Colin a bigger thrill than to say, all right, Harry, 6 or 7 a day, and hear, hello, Colin, back, however exasperated Harry sounded when he said it. Hedwig was still angry with Harry about the disastrous car journey, and Ron's wand was still malfunctioning, surpassing itself on Friday morning by shooting out of Ron's hand in charms and hitting tiny old Professor Flitwick squarely between the eyes, creating a large, throbbing green boil where it had struck. So one thing and another, Harry was quite glad to reach the weekend. He, Ron, and Hermione was planning to visit Hagrid on Saturday morning. Harry, however, was shaken awake several hours earlier than he would have liked to by Oliver Wood, captain of Gryffindor Quidditch team. What's the matter? Said Harry groggily. Quidditch practice, said Wood. Come on. Thank you, everyone. That's all for today. Bye. See you tomorrow.